Hello, curious minds. I'm Koko. And today, we're traveling to a landlocked country of imperial palaces, soaring alpine peaks, world-class classical music, and one of the most culturally rich histories in all of Europe. Today, we discover Austria. Austria sits in the heart of Central Europe, bordered by 8 countries: Germany and Czech Republic to the north, Slovakia and Hungary to the east, Slovenia and Italy to the south, and Switzerland and Liechtenstein to the west. Despite being landlocked with no access to the sea, Austria has one of the most stunning and varied landscapes in Europe. From the magnificent Eastern Alps, covering 62% of the country, to the gentle hills and vineyards of the Danube Valley. Its capital is Vienna, one of the greatest and most beautiful cities in the entire world, a place where imperial grandeur, classical music, and modern innovation exist side by side in perfect harmony. Vienna consistently ranks as the most livable city in the world year after year. Austria's history is one of the most dramatic and fascinating in all of European civilization. For over 600 years, Austria was ruled by the Habsburg dynasty, one of the most powerful royal families in history. At its peak, the Habsburg Empire controlled vast territories across Europe, including Spain, the Netherlands, large parts of Italy, Hungary, Czech Republic, and many more. The Habsburg emperors shaped European politics, culture, and art for centuries. Vienna became one of the greatest centers of art, music, and intellectual life in the world during this period. Austria gave the world some of the greatest composers in human history. Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart, born in Salzburg in 1756, began composing music at age 5, and by age 6 was performing for kings and queens across Europe. His music is still performed in concert halls worldwide every single day. Ludwig van Beethoven and Franz Schubert also spent most of their careers in Vienna, making it the undisputed classical music capital of the world. In 1814 and 1815, Vienna hosted the Congress of Vienna, the most important diplomatic gathering in European history, which redrew the entire map of Europe after the Napoleonic Wars. The Austro-Hungarian Empire, formed in 1867, became one of the largest and most diverse empires in the world until its collapse at the end of World War I in 1918. After World War II, Austria declared permanent neutrality in 1955 and has remained a peaceful and prosperous nation ever since, home to numerous international organizations including the United Nations and OPEC. Today, Austria is home to about 9 million people known for their love of music, culture, nature, and exceptional quality of life. German is the official language, though Austrian German has its own distinct dialect and vocabulary that even native Germans sometimes struggle to understand. Austrians are deeply proud of their cultural heritage. Vienna alone has more than 100 museums, and the Vienna State Opera is considered one of the finest opera houses in the entire world, performing almost every night of the year. The Vienna Philharmonic Orchestra is widely regarded as the greatest orchestra on earth. Austrian food is wonderfully hearty and delicious. Wiener Schnitzel, which is a thin breaded and fried veal or pork cutlet, is perhaps the most famous Austrian dish enjoyed worldwide. Sachertorte, a rich chocolate cake with apricot jam invented in Vienna in 1832, is one of the most famous cakes in the world. Apfelstrudel, flaky pastry filled with spiced apples, and Kaiserschmarrn, fluffy shredded pancakes with powdered sugar, are beloved treats enjoyed in cozy Austrian coffee houses that have been the heart of Viennese social life for centuries. Austria uses the euro. Despite its relatively small size, Austria has a very strong and prosperous economy, consistently ranking among the wealthiest nations in the world. Austria is a major center for international business and diplomacy. Vienna hosts the headquarters of the United Nations Industrial Development Organization, OPEC, and the International Atomic Energy Agency, among many others. Tourism is enormously important. millions visit every year, drawn by the Alps, Vienna's imperial architecture, Mozart's birthplace in Salzburg, and some of the finest skiing resorts in the world. Austrian companies like Red Bull, Swarovski Crystal, and AVL are recognized globally. Now let's explore some of Austria's most magnificent and unforgettable places. Schönbrunn Palace in Vienna, a breathtaking imperial palace with 1,441 rooms and magnificent formal gardens, once the summer residence of the Habsburg emperors and a UNESCO World Heritage Site that rivals Versailles in its grandeur. The Vienna State Opera, one of the most beautiful and prestigious opera houses in the world, hosting over 300 performances every year and drawing the greatest singers and conductors from around the globe. Hallstatt, perhaps the most photographed village in the world, a tiny fairy tale settlement of colorful houses perched between a dramatic mountain and a crystal clear lake in the Salzkammergut region, so beautiful that China actually built an exact replica of it. Salzburg, the birthplace of Mozart, a beautifully preserved Baroque city surrounded by mountains where the famous Sound of Music was filmed and where the world-renowned Salzburg Festival takes place every summer. And the Grossglockner, Austria's highest mountain, rising 3,198 meters above sea level, surrounded by glaciers and offering some of the most spectacular alpine scenery anywhere in Europe. Before we go, here are some truly remarkable things about Austria that will amaze you. Adolf Hitler was actually born in Austria, not Germany, in the small town of Braunau am Inn in 1889, a fact that still deeply affects Austrian national identity today. The croissant, that beloved pastry enjoyed worldwide, was actually invented in Vienna, not France, inspired by the crescent shape of the Ottoman flag after Austria's victory over the Ottoman Empire in 1683. Red Bull, the most popular energy drink in the world, selling over 12 billion cans every year, was founded by Austrian entrepreneur Dietrich Mateschitz in 1987. Austria has produced world-changing figures, including Sigmund Freud, who founded psychoanalysis, Erwin Schrödinger, who revolutionized quantum physics, and Arnold Schwarzenegger, who became both the world's greatest bodybuilder and the governor of California. Austria is a country where imperial history echoes through magnificent palace halls, where Mozart's melodies float through cobblestone streets, and where the Alps remind you every day of the breathtaking beauty of our world. I hope you enjoyed our journey today. I'm Koko, and there is a whole world left to discover. See you in the next adventure.